The White House doubling down today on why President Biden, they say, will not take executive action on the border.
That Senate bill that was negotiated between Republicans and obviously Democrats in the Senate would have been the best way to go. No executive action would have that effect, the effect that this bipartisan negotiation would have had.
All right, so the president seemingly won't take action, executive action. So could that mean essentially the status quo for the next 8 months? Here's a reality check, I think. Let's show it real quick. President Biden revoked Donald Trump's immigration policies, many of them. Check. The Senate doesn't take up the House Republican bill. Check. That happened also. Trump then kills the Senate border bill. Yep, that happened too. Biden today said he won't be taking any executive actions. Check, 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 right? Reality check. But how about that question mark, Mick Mulvaney? Does that mean we are not going to get any action on the southern border until 2025?
It's a huge risk for the Biden team because if immigration remains at the top of the list of the issues most important to the voters, he'll lose the election over it. That's rare that the economy is not what drives voters, but right now it looks like it might be immigration. And that answer that Corinne just gave was not very, that's not a good answer. You know, why aren't you doing anything? Well, because Congress didn't do anything. That's not, people want somebody to do something. Keep in mind, polling that we've talked about in this show shows that more than half of Americans think that Joe Biden's policies will make immigration worse, not better. The number is 9% for Donald Trump. So if immigration remains a top issue, Joe Biden could lose the election over this.
That the reality check here?
No, I agree. I actually agree with Mulvaney here. The executive action approach to not take it now, I think, is a bad decision. Even though it would only be a Band-Aid, we need federal legislation. We need Congress to come together. He has to do something, and I think a lot of people were hinging on that.
Bad decision, Brad?
I think the only thing you can really change with executive action is the authority to do things and that execute. What you need are resources. You need money, and only Congress can provide those funds. We're not going to fix the situation on the border until we have the funds to more quickly process asylum requests, judges, et cetera, et cetera. That's the backlog. That's the issue.
You look at that and you see what?
He gave away the store more quickly to process, not to stop them from coming, but to put more people in the country who don't have a right to be here. Notice the Biden administration. Notice the right, and 90% of them don't ever make that bar. But nonetheless, notice the language change. Joe Biden said he can't do that. Now he said he's not going to do that. That's different.
Okay.
Yeah, no one gives any credence to Biden floating those executive orders. If they've paid attention the last 3 years, we all knew he was never going to do anything about it. It was merely a talking point to try to get voters to believe that he would. And now we know from his own mouth, he's definitely not going to do that.
By the way, from that graph, too, you can see there is a clear back and forth with basically every side touching this issue. All right. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.